Hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of Today's Weather Tonight. Here, as always, I am your meteorologist for the evening, Cloud Hudson, and we are about to get started with reviewing our top weather stories for the past few days. With that, let me go ahead and turn on my screen here. Alrighty. There we go. There we go. All right. Let's start by taking a look at what's happening below our feet. The most internal part of the Earth, the inner core, has begun moving backwards, according to a new scientific study recently released from USC. We've got the solid metal ball in the center of the Earth, possibly reversing its direction because it is slowing down at to a speed that is slower than the outer core, which is molten metal. The solid metal inner core is slowing down its speed of rotation. So we will just have to see what that means as we continue to observe geosciences throughout the change in the rate of spin. Yeah, it might be crucial for navigation systems. It might affect our magnetosphere. It'll be exciting. Okay. We've got Stromboli, the Aeolian Islands in Italy, with continued explosive activity. Toulouse warned about volcanic ash plume that rose up to 4,000 feet. And that ash plume is moving southeast at 10 knots. Then Sabancaya in Peru continues its ash emissions as well. Let's see. The review from July 11th. We've got a lot of great pictures for you today. We've got the Stromboli Aeolian Islands explosion that happened. This is seen from Panarea Island. Yeah, it was not very loud and felt a strong shockwave that rattled doors in the village. That is another great picture of the eruption in Stromboli, and you can see the crepuscular rays right here. Behind the sun is behind the ash cloud right now. That's a gorgeous image. Explosive activity is decreasing at Mount Etna. The glowing stream had been erupting from the Vortigine crater. It had stopped and then restarted. Low-level plume of gas and vapor drifting eastward from White Island volcano that is in New Zealand. And the summit area illuminated as bright lava bombs followed the sudden eruption at Villarrica last night. Where's the Villarrica? Yeah, central Chile. An abrupt, vigorous Strombolian-sized explosion. It happened at 1 a.m. last night. This showered the upper summit area with bright lava bombs and generating ash plume and glowing avalanches, which traveled at about 500 meters radius from the center. That is in addition to our continued activity of new and frequent eruptions from Nevado del Ruiz, Sangay, Reventador, Sabancaya, and Fuego. All right. Yeah, that is after the big news on the 10th was continuing lays or lava haze, lava-driven haze. That is the steam gas that is created when lava hits the seawater to create new coastline off of Stromboli. We have a new summit map of Etna after the paroxysms on July 4th and 7th. There we go. That's showing, I believe, the new flow. This is the, well, my Italian's a little rusty, but I think we can figure out that these are where the craters filled in. The new summit peak of Etna is now at 3,369 meters above sea level. It previously was the new southeast crater with 3,354 meter height, but it's also the highest ever. This is also the highest ever measurement of the height of Mount Etna, possibly the highest it may have reached in centuries. That is exciting. So there's the eruptive phase of Mount Etna that got it up that high. Western summit crater Boca Nuova completely filled in with lava. The new cone and lava overflowed as seen on the western flank. Yeah, you can see it fill in right there. Sakurajima continues to explode. There was a possible explosion at Karimsky on the Kamchatka Peninsula. Ibu, Lewitobi, and Samiru, and Merapi, and Dukono all had volcanic ash blooms. Yeah. Yeah, and so the Villarrica explosion in central Chile was preceded by a few days of an increase in volcano activity. So that did actually come to pass. Let's go now to check out our earthquakes. Oh, I didn't put that on the right one. Let me get the right window capture here. Okay, there we go. Oh, and I forgot to turn on chat. Hello! Hi, Kaylee. I'm happy to see you. I am so glad you're here. I know I've been a little inconsistent, but I am trying very hard. I'm trying my best. All right. Oh, and I still got that power outage map on there. Okay, so big earthquake news. Gotta hydrate for this one. We have a 7 at 620 7.1 at the center of the band, 0.4 at 369 kilometers depth right next to that, more recently as an aftershock. That comes after a few days of spreading sixes across the Oh, where'd I go? I disappeared. I'm back. I'm sorry I was gone for so long. Okay. Let's go to our... Let's look at our atmosphere right now. Obviously, still got a lot of power outages in the Houston, Texas area. Brazoria County is still only... It's got 65% of people out of power. We're looking at near 25% to 45% out in the main counties where Houston is, Harris County, and the like. Still got a few out in Matagorda County and Galveston County. But otherwise, everybody is getting back online as fast as possible. We have some isolated supercells throughout the Midwest today, which is a welcome break from the past 2 days of terrible tornadoes breaking out from the remnants of Beryl. The remnants of Beryl, which have made it up here and through the Northeast and are exiting land again. We do have some precipitation here off the coast of Florida and the mid-Atlantic region, but that is the interaction of this weak wavy trough with the remnants of Beryl and this dry line right here all interacting. This is also kind of the area where we had that offshore low that was just threatening to do something very weird. As well as we've got some isolated special weather statements for some pretty severe weather sweeping through the upper plains, through Montana, Wyoming, Nebraska, Colorado. Wyoming actually is pretty good, doesn't have any warnings, but Nebraska and Colorado, you're looking at some warnings. Kansas City area, you are probably going to have this expire in a minute, but we've got a severe thunderstorm warning for near Kansas City. This is an area where we got a lot of tornadoes in the past, like 2 days ago. Yeah, there's the cell that was warned for Kansas City. So maybe not. It may not. I've got a really long frame rate. Let's go to 30 frames. Yeah, that shows it a little better. Looking like a nasty little pop-up storm right there. Just kind of came out of nowhere. And that's what's going on today, is a lot of little storms out of nowhere. Okay. Let's see. I want to go to... check out derived winds, because we haven't done that one in a while. Let's see if that product is back. Yay! There it is. And we can see the difference between the lower level winds, upper level winds, and mid-level winds, with yellow being the low level, cyan the middle level, and red the upper level. Got some upper level divergence right here above Houston. We've also got not too much wind shear to speak of. It's just in these areas where there is a lot of there's a lot of instability and localized convection. There's an opportunity for wind shear in the vertical. Yeah, and I mean, you see this storm, it looks like it really wants to do something. This area off the coast, the southeastern coast right here, wants to blow up and become something, make something of itself. But it's not quite organizing tightly enough to become a real good tropical system. Let's see if it's on the radar for any tropical, tracking the tropics. Yeah, okay, so we've got, it's now a disturbance, 0% chance of formation. So, I mean, it is the only thing, the only story going on right now, but it still looks very, very unlikely to organize. Though it is bringing moisture to Florida and the coastal Carolinas. So it's not nothing, but it is. I mean, you would want this aligned with this. It's just a little bit off kilter. It's not going to develop very strongly, I don't think. Let's take a look at what our rainfall totals ended up in the past week. So in the past day, you can see remnants of Beryl up here really did put a lot of rain on the northeast. This is the track. You can see very clearly the track of Beryl here, bringing that heavy flooding all the way through East Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois and Indiana, Michigan, and upstate New York, Maine, Connecticut, Vermont. Really bringing all the way up to 4 and 5 inches of rain and more to some places. It was really only on the Texas coast that we had to deal with storm surge, but there was quite a bit of storm surge and flooding from this because it attacked right at the correct angle, and that would be a right angle at the right angle. And over the past week, this is where the majority of our rainfall has been. So even in addition to Beryl, we've seen lots more central and eastern coast rain than we did at the beginning of July and end of June. The West Coast is pretty dang dry right now, and that's not great because they've got a fire weather going on out there. Let's take a look at that right now. Okay. Fire weather. We are in a fire weather watch out here. Red flag warning everywhere. Fire weather watches everywhere. Red flag warnings here in the pink in the Sierra Nevada mountains, and fire weather watches all over the place. There's lots of new fires popping up, especially in Eastern Oregon here. This is a new one, the Cow Valley incident. I think this is a new one as of yesterday, the Huntington Mutual Aid incident. There's the Bonita Road incident. That's new. Yeah, there's just a lot of new wildfires out here. No rain in sight, no humidity in sight, and quite the heat dome setting up across the country. Let me go back to pivotal weather and show you the heat. Because, God, this is just dry and hot. And that is not what you want if you're trying to avoid wildfires. This is the right recipe for wildfires. Look how dry that is. These are dew point temperatures. So even though these say 50, 60 looking moist, when there's 125-degree heat, that's still that is nothing. That is nothing when it comes to moisture. Though you wouldn't want it more humid if you're trying to survive. Let's see. Do they have... Let's see our heat index. Feeling like 100. And just no cloud cover out there either. Not much to speak of. Which is really unfortunate. They really need some help out there. The West Coast is dying. Speaking of the West Coast dying, there's bubonic plague in Colorado. A human being has the bubonic plague in Colorado. So, yeah, remember to protect yourself and your pets from fleas, which carry the bacteria that causes bubonic plague. Remember to wear your mask if you're going to visit. Wear your plague mask if you're going to visit someone with the bubonic plague. Keep pet food in rodent-proof containers. Try to keep rodents away from everything. Oh, do not let pets sleep in bed with you. That's sad, but I guess that makes a lot of sense. And keep flea collars on them. Keep them treated for fleas and such. Uh, yeah, basically protect yourself from rodents. Um, so that's new sentences I didn't think I'd have to say, but remember to watch out for the bubonic plague. Um, let's see. Okay, we have had some pretty intense Schumann resonance activity. A lot of ion precipitation is going on where we're getting a lot of the charged particles from the ionosphere, the very, very outer atmosphere, precipitating downwards via strong thunderstorms and lightning discharges. But also, these are the rates of exchanges of energy. This is the frequencies that the energy is exchanging. So we are getting a little bit more coherence in the bandwidths of frequency, which are speaking up right now. It's like changing the timbre of the voice of the earth when we have different ratios of frequencies inside of what's getting communicated. There's also been a random burst at mode 4 back here on the 10th, and 10th and 11th, both days, we've had a lot of whiteout type conditions. We've also seen some random little bursts at very low frequencies. So yeah, we are on schedule to have very active geomagnetic very active earth science conditions right now. Our Schumann resonance activity is very high, so if your energy is hard to regulate right now, it might be partly because the natural energies of the earth's background electrical system are a little frantic as well. Okay. So on the 10th, we got a coronal mass ejection that might have oh yeah, that looks like it's going to have an Earth-directed component, all right. That's a type 2 coronal mass ejection. That looks good. That looks like it's going to hit us. The 10th, we had 6 coronal mass ejections, and today on the 11th, we had 5. Let's see, a random one from today. Not looking as exciting, but I wonder if they have modeled yesterday's ejection. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like they've modeled anything for that recent coronal mass ejection. But just from the Parker spirals themselves, we are expecting a little bit of an increase in solar wind speed and plasma density. Let's take a look at what those things are doing today. Pretty normal solar wind speed. Density is also pretty normal. Interplanetary magnetic field is slightly elevated and in the southern orientation. We've had some moderate M-class flare activity, so let's see our solar flares. Yeah, we've been over the 10th and 11th on the same days that we had these Schumann resonance bursts. We've been having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different M-class flares. So we are picking up a little bit when it comes to our X-ray radiation. Flux seems like region 3738 is dominating that. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah. Yeah, it's been most of the activities come from this one, which looks pretty healthy. It looks pretty complex. I think it is in a beta gamma type configuration right now. Got 67 sunspots, which is a lot. And it is pretty much bang on right in front of Earth. So if that's where the coronal mass ejection came from, I bet it would be coming straight for us. No proton activity, which is pretty good. It was about 2 weeks ago that we got this unexpected geomagnetic storm, and it takes about 2 weeks for the sun to return. So the same part of the sun that produced that is coming back soon. But again, nothing too noteworthy right now. Let's see if I can get a video going. Looks so active. This looks like it wants to launch right here. These two plasma filaments look like they're destabilizing. I don't know if they'll launch by the time it could still hit Earth or not. They might go south of us, but looks like they're rocking back and forth like they really want to destabilize and launch out. We should be getting some increased solar wind from this dark region here. Yeah, I think there'll be another launch by the time tomorrow comes around. Let's look at our planetary weather. They changed the home. That's nice. Okay. Planetary weather. It is a Jupiter day and a Jupiter hour. We started broadcasting during a Jupiter day, Jupiter hour. This has just been a short show. We've got a mystic rectangle in the sky right now. That is a big formation where there's two parallel sextiles and two parallel trines making this big rectangle in the middle. And that is set up kind of like a house with this grand sextile right here between, I would say, Venus, this conjunction in late Taurus, and Neptune. And the mystic rectangle is between Neptune, Pluto, the moon conjunct Black Moon Lilith, and Venus in Leo. So that was our big deal today. Venus has ingressed into Leo, is now at 0 degrees Leo, and opposing Pluto at 1 degree of Aquarius. So Venus opposite Pluto, not always a fun time, but definitely something that's going to probably upset your values or transform your values, your financial stability, your access to resources, and having nice, clean home and aesthetics, especially Venus and Leo being your access to materials of aesthetics. I feel like is a big Leo Venus opposite Pluto and Aquarius. Maybe something online is affecting how you're being perceived in the real world, something like that. There's also Moon in Libra right here with Black Moon Lilith, making that strong trine to Pluto. And right at the beginning of Gemini is also Sedna, and I don't have that up there, but that is also another feminine archetype. So those are making kind of a grand air trine there. So we're really digging into our depths right now. I think sometimes the middle of summer can feel like the middle of winter for people, especially if it's so hot that you don't get to go outside. You can actually get seasonal depression from missing sunlight because it's just too hot to be in the sun. Jupiter in Gemini is still rocking strong and kind of the only thing not in aspect to anything else right now. I guess technically it is making a trine to the nodes, trine and sextile to the nodes, but it's kind of all hanging out on its own in Gemini right here. I believe inflating and puffing up Gemini to get ready to be burst like a balloon when this strengthening Mars comes in. Mars is applying ever closer to the conjunction with Uranus, so this is going to be a major shakeup kind of energy on the 15th of July. Some sort of material shakeup in the world, probably some more earthquakes, most likely more earthquakes, landslides, wildfires, going to be happening around this time, especially I think with Venus in Leo. That's a hot Venus. That's a hot placement for Venus. And I think that is probably, I mean, I don't know why, but I'm just getting the vibe that maybe Venus in Leo opposite Pluto in Aquarius means there could be a wildfire at or near a data center, like in California. I don't know why I'm getting that message, but I'm hearing that, like, getting a gut feeling that like this means there is some sort of infrastructure of the internet at risk of being uh, you know, it's being threatened by the physical climate, by the actual wildfires and climate change itself. Um, Kind of a weird thought to think that the world might get so hot the computers don't work. I think that's what's happening in Arizona right now is they're getting close to temperatures at which we're at the thermal limits of the computer working or not working anymore. Certain uh, physical processes that happen on a computer have to happen at certain temperatures in order to perform correctly or spit out the right numbers correctly, because they use like an actual uh, heat has a lot to do with the electricity at the scale that small. So if you can't effectively cool your computer down to a safe working temperature, you can't use it. So if there's a, I don't know why they would put a data center in Arizona, but if there are any out there, they're probably the cooling fans are probably working overtime. I think the wildfires in California are not probably not near any big data centers because we haven't heard any news about them being under threat. But just because we have so much fire weather warnings and watches going on there, there's so much dry, hot air. I think we gotta keep an eye out. We got to keep an eye out for the most ironic thing that could happen, the most hilarious thing that could happen, most terrifying, like Instagram and Facebook literally shutting down because the computers are too hot. I think I think we are within a year's time of seeing that headline, if not literally seeing a wildfire getting too close to one. Um, I don't know why that's popping into my head with this Leo, Venus, and Mercury transit. I guess Mercury here isn't really making an aspect to anyone else other than a very large separating orb of sextile with Gemini, Jupiter right there. Okay. You're at the data center? Oh no. Well, try to put the fires out. I don't know what to tell you there. Yeah. Hope that you have good air conditioning, because that would break the computers. If the AC went out, that would actually crash the internet, I think. Okay. You've been crying every day. I totally get that. I'm not crying every day, but I am definitely, my mental stability has been unstable. So I'm doing the best I can to not make irrational, impulsive decisions, but sometimes I need to be impulsive as a treat. Okay, I'm going to go to getting a vibe check from the universe through the cards right now. Got my little labby. Let's see. What kind of energy is coming in from beyond the planets right now? Ooh, that was a lot. Okay. God. We had 5 cards pop up there. First one I saw was the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, which means possibly a new opportunity to lose money. No, Ace of Pentacles upright means new business ventures, something coming your way. This might mean a new loss of business ventures. You might also be, it could mean that you're more in the receiving rather than the giving orientation right now, because we got the 6 of Pentacles upright with that. Clarifying that it looks like maybe some things will be rationed out, metered out, weighed by value and how much whoever needs it. Maybe there will be some sort of scholarship or otherwise a grant or a I'm just thinking scholarship of somebody giving you free access to a course, or I don't know, socialized healthcare, something like that. We've also got the 8 of Swords upright. So that is, I think, being in a bind of your own making. Also being stuck in a rather uncomfortable place. Again, by the choices that you've made. This could lead to some surprises coming from our unconscious, our subconscious mind. The Page of Cups always, to me, represents the unlocking of a repressed memory, or new interpretations of the things that happened in your life from a new emotional lens. And I'm getting emotional lens because we've also got, last but not least, the Queen of Cups upright, which is, she is mother, manipulator, goddess, feminine, ruler of emotions, knows what emotions are for and knows how to use them, knows how to categorize them, and knows how to process them, but also knows how to make everyone else feel the emotions she's feeling. So I think there may be an opportunity where, this is maybe asking for help with our darker feminine energies coming to the surface. We don't really know how to handle these energies, all this crying impulse, or the urge to be chaotic and dark. We might need to ask for some assistance in not letting this destroy our material circumstances, because this seems like a circumstance where the unveiling of a motivation or memory or something like that could be very destructive to your material security if you don't get something done about it. So this also seems to represent the planets that are up right now. We've got 2 pentacles and 2 cups and a very heavy swords energy. I think swords, 8 of swords is the middle decan of Gemini. So that is where Jupiter is right now. So what is gaining, what is growing in life is this 8 of swords energy. Probably need to ask for help. Go to therapy, go to a different type of therapy, go to axe throwing. I don't know. Do something to deal with your inner rage, because I definitely have this. I think this reading might be coming for me, dragging me. I think I might need to. Yeah, I'm reflecting. Might be time to make some changes. Yeah. Hard reading, but pretty clear. Pretty clear, I think. All right. Well, I'm sorry that's not a more hopeful, happy update, but I do think that if we use this energy to our advantage, we will come out stronger, and this can be a really important, pivotal time. But also, the month of July is just kind of a crapshoot energetically. This is just going from weird to worse of a transits month. So let's all try to stay safe and hunker down. We'll get through this. All right. I love you very much. Thank you so much for coming to another episode of Today's Weather Tonight, and I will see you all tomorrow.